All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wayne Dupree Show here at CPAC. Trying to get things ready for our, I hope y'all feel not feeling seasick right now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wayne Dupree Show live from Gaylord Resorts, National Harbor, 2018, day 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pressing forward. President Trump is in there right now.
Made matters a little difficult this morning.
We're out here. Something is happening down there at the NRA.
5-0 is everywhere.
But we're here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me push back away from here so I'm not too loud. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show lined up for you. We got 2 hours worth this morning, and we'll try to be back tonight. I know we said we were going to give you a night show, but I think they're going to move all of the equipment, so we're going to have to get connected back up one more time with new equipment.
Just a little inside baseball, because I know there's a lot of technical experts out there that like to send me DMs and everything else about how this goes. And you got to understand that we share this booth with 3 other broadcasters. And when we got here this morning, everything was dismantled.
All
wires were disconnected. Yep. I mean, we had the technical guy here up until about 10 minutes ago. So it's not ineptitude. It's just a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts.
And I know everybody, I mean, there's a lot of people out there right now that are experts at this thing.
Right.
You know, hey, you too loud. Your decibel levels are too high. They're too low. They're 0.5 off. Listen, honestly, we get on the radio or we get on these mics and we talk to you. We don't have that production type of person that is flowing around with us
you did pretty good, though. I mean, there's nobody else that's on as many platforms. That's the thing. I mean, this is so multi-dimensional with all the different platforms and getting the audio synced up. And it sounds good. And if we were able to leave here at night and come back to the same studio in the morning,
that's true.
It would be all good. But that's not the way it works.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of other people that come in here and switch everything around and move everything. And we just hope we're going to give you the best product that we can. We're doing our best, folks.
I want to give a shout out to the PoliticalInsider.com. They are sponsoring us this year. Check out the PoliticalInsider.com, their website. As a matter of fact, they have some great stories up there right now. Again, President Trump is in there right now. He's speaking, but we are out. I won't ever do a 10 to 12 again, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, this is tough. There was no we had to run the security gauntlet this morning, every bit as tight as if you were going to the White House.
Yeah.
I mean, open. That's the first time I ever had them direct me to not only take my computer out of the bag, but power it up. I mean, that was different for me.
So I see that we have our Facebook followers that are watching right now. If you can share what we're doing, we got some great interviews coming. I think Sebastian Gorka might be coming back. I talked to the people that were in charge of that, and there's a possibility he might come back. But no, I mean, we're still going to have some interviews, some real interesting interviews for you. And on the left side of the video, our video looks better than it does last year too.
Oh, yeah, that's good. We had that one camera going. I want to give a shout out to all the people that donated to the GoFundMe to get us here.
Yes.
I want to thank you very much. I wasn't trying to sound bitter earlier. It's just that we've been here since 8 o'clock trying to get this ready. It wasn't like we weren't here wanting to go on the air, but it gets a little frustrating sometimes. I just wanted to give you, and also a shout out to the taxi drivers and limousine drivers making Mogadishu great again.
Oh, forget them.
You can never forget them. You got to add them. You got to watch the Bell Captain. He's quite entertaining.
You know what? Some of the great things about CPAC was the food. Food sucks this year.
I was getting ready to say, I was waiting how you were going to follow that up. I mean, you can go right down there, and they got turkey sandwiches for $13.
Yeah, that they made last year. Yeah, but I mean,
so you're right. It's not. They could up the.
It's like, what the heck did y'all do?
The refreshments game. I mean, I remember coming here when the refreshments were free.
Yeah,
for broadcasters.
Oh, man. They had bagels and everything for us.
Yeah, nothing
then.
this year.
They ain't got nothing.
No, I remember sitting in the media room, not even out here, and being able to get a coffee. Matt, you got that? You got to throw a couple dollars toward the people doing the work here. Everybody's not just.
Everybody's doing something.
Yeah. Nigel Farage is in the house.
I saw him walk through a couple times. Here's a story on the politicalinsider.com right now. Is the liberal argument for gun control just collapsed? New evidence in the Nicholas Cruz case. If you have time today, and you should have time today, make your way over to the politicalinsider.com and check out that story, please. There's a lot of great opinion, a lot of breaking news. And you can expect some articles to be written on President Trump and what he's talking about right now. So make your way over to the politicalinsider.com. Sign up for the newsletter, a free newsletter too. You know, the more and more the onion is peeled back on what happened down there at Parkland, the more and more it's almost like finding out stuff about the FBI, especially with that deputy. The deputy didn't go into the school when he heard the
and the way that the Sheriff Israel, the way he snapped at Dana Lash, it's almost time for him to resign. I mean, what a display of just pure ridiculousness with this. I mean, it's Eric Bolin going across the front there.
Eric Bolin.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is my brother. Hey, man, how you doing? Great. No.
Hi, Eric.
I miss you too, man.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, just all kinds of things going on. We're going to bring
Eric Bolin, my brother from another mother, is looking good as always. I mean, the last time I saw him, it was in New York. But, man, I miss you, and we should connect a whole lot more. Yeah, please.
I miss you too.
Yeah, we should connect a whole lot more.
We go way back. It's probably about 10 years now, right?
Yep. Yeah. And
I mean, you're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Keeping it real, keeping it right.
Thank you.
And your success is well deserved.
I remember when I won Blogger of the Year.
I did too.
And Eric tweeted it up for me.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
He did. He sure did. He was like, "I'm happy for you. Give me some information on it," and he put it right out there for me.
I think I might have even talked about it on the 5 at the time, or maybe it was one of the other shows I was on. But
yeah.
I put it on there. Yeah.
Man,
so there's millions of people waiting for you to reemerge on another platform. We thought you were going to take over there.
Well, my re-emergence is with the opioid crisis. I'm not sure if you're not aware, but I lost my 19-year-old son 6 months ago to an accidental opioid overdose, and it's really, been my mission right now, just to get some awareness out there. Yeah,
noble cause. Yeah, and something that is a national focus beginning to. I mean, it's something that
I spoke here yesterday on the main stage, and I was overwhelmed. The place was packed. They were really engaged, and Matt Schlapp took a chance by putting an opioid discussion topic up on CPAC. It's not a typical CPAC type of discussion, and the response has been overwhelming. People walking down the hallways, they all, "Hey, I have a friend," or "Hey, I'm clean for a year," or "Hey, that was really amazing. I'm going to talk to my kids about this." So it's the right time. It's finally getting some light that, it's not the sexy topics that everyone wants to talk about, but but 175 Americans per day die of an opioid overdose.
I was going to say it's something that it's not something that's just in Harlem or anything like that. My son is a Pittsburgh firefighter, and he came up to me. He's in Afghanistan now, but he came up to me last year and sat down. This was after he was on the job for 6 months. And he told me, Dad, nobody should ever have to look at this much death every day.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what's happening too. If 64,000 people last year died of anything else, whether it's water, tainted water, or the food supply, we would be spending hundreds of billions of dollars to make sure we fixed it. But for some reason, this is if you're 50 or younger, it's the number one cause of death.
Wow.
In America. Wow. Beyond car accidents, beyond gun violence, beyond anything in the world, any other type of accident, that it's the number one cause. So there's starting to be some light shed on it, but being able to sit down with you guys is a great opportunity, maybe to save some lives.
Well, I know, and we pulled you as you were going somewhere, but I know I want to have you back on the regular show so that we can talk about this.
You got it, brother. We've been friends a long time. I'm there for you.
Good.
I got to go do a Catholic Channel hit, and I'll go talk to you guys later.
Beautiful.
Thank you
good to see you guys. God bless you.
Thank you for stopping by, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was my big brother Eric Bolin. And it speaks a lot of him because he stopped by here when he was going to another slot.
That's why we can never tell you exactly who's going to be on.
Who's going to show up exactly?
Because this hallway gets crazy.
Yep. Exactly.
And that was interesting. That was something that I'm glad that happened.
My dude.
And like he said, he tragically lost his son recently, and then it was all compounded because it was during the same time he was getting let go from the Fox News channel, and it was just a horrible tragedy. It was great to see him here. I mean, it is. Yeah, you're right. And above and beyond the noble cause, which I'm sure is going to drive him probably for the rest of his life now.
Yep.
I hope he gets back into other things as well, because I always thought he was the pinnacle.
He was solid, man.
He was the pinnacle of Fox News. I liked him better than any of the rest of them. I really did.
And he stood up for Trump.
He did. Every day.
He stood up for Trump on that network, just like Sean Hannity. But
he did, and I mean, he did that against Greg Gutfeld on one side and the females on the other side.
Yeah.
And he was always rock solid.
Yep.
And so they had to bring him down, I guess. That was probably why. They brought that old allegations out that were, I don't even know what happened to him. I guess it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. But, we're praying for him. You can tell, he was still hurting.
Yeah, he is. And I thought about that as I started talking, and I'm like, okay, we have to. It's going to go in this direction, and I'm glad he brought it up because I was trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't have to. So we were competing against the President of the United States. I just heard him proclaiming something pretty loud. He got a pretty good crowd reaction. I don't know how long he's going to be speaking. He normally speaks for about 45 minutes.
Who?
The President. 45 minutes to an hour.
Think so?
And
is he speaking now?
Yeah. And if he does that, there's going to be a period during this broadcast that there's going to be shade.
Yeah. We were trying. I can tell you right now, I was trying to get on. We still have our hookup in the White House. I was trying to get him on, and it didn't fall through like I wanted it to. But we keep on trying.
Oh yeah.
We've interviewed him like 5 times, and for a regular podcast, but that we have switched over to the name radio show, and us not being super known
in
everywhere.
The lights, right?
Yeah, like silver hair.
Yeah. But the thing about it, Wayne, is that we've been around since 2012, and every year consistently since then, and there's not a whole lot of people in this business that aren't superstars that can claim that.
Right.
We definitely have the longevity of being known and recognized and everything else. So,
ladies and gentlemen, coming to the mic is a young lady from Arkansas that has a terrific radio show down there. And not only that, She did an impromptu interview.
It was amazing.
With a Persian.
Rabia Kazan.
And she was like...
Middle Eastern. She was from Turkey.
From Turkey Persian,
yes,
I think, right?
Yes.
And I was... I didn't know whether to send her over to Val, but
no,
I
it
was
was
like,
great.
I was like, Val, like Eric Boland, how he sat down here. Val was like, "No, I'll do it. Yeah, come on." And man, I listened to that interview, girl.
She's amazing.
Look, well, not only is she amazing, you got skills. You got skills.
Thank you.
You got good radio skills.
I learned from that man right there, Dave Ellswick. He's my mentor.
All right.
No, I am constantly advocating for, and when you say stuff about women wearing burqas and all those things from the Middle East, they're like, "Oh, you hate Muslims." No, I feel bad for them.
Right.
I feel horrible for them that they have to be in that position.
Enslaved.
Yes, exactly. And I think it is ridiculous. And she's an ex-Muslim. And I feel it is very important to hear from ex-Muslims, because all we hear in this country from the left is that not all Muslims are like that. They'll stand up here and persecute Christians and persecute Jews and all these things, but they'll stand up for Islam.
I know.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But Rabia, she was amazing. She was telling us how, the women were raped.
Yep.
And I'll have that interview on my show on Saturday when I'll be flying, so it's pre-recorded.
Let everybody know how to find you real quick.
Oh, yeah, Val Emmons on Facebook. You can listen to us at 96.5 FM, The Answer in Little Rock, and it's streams after our show, and it streams live. It's Salem Media. Mm-hmm. I'm on with Dave Ellswick on Thursdays, and then I do other things as well. So.
Okay, yeah. EMMONS.
Yes.
Val, VAL. EMMONS.
Now, I have too many friends on my Facebook page. I've started a show page, but for some reason, no one wants to migrate there. I don't know why. It's so
like
hard.
That. It's like that.
You have that problem too?
You know what? It's like if you have Periscope people and you say, "Okay, I'm moving to Facebook." You got to push and shove them,
right, just
to get them over there, and then it's like, okay,
I'm like, I'll give you cookies.
I know. Milk and cookies,
I'll give you cookies. Just come on over. But I can't get any, and then I forget to post things over there. Mm-hmm. But you can follow me if you want on my Facebook page, and then when somebody, or you can add me, and then when somebody doesn't like what I have to say, I don't really care. Well, I'll just boom, add you in there.
Do your thing.
That works. Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah, I'm not PC at all. At all.
So, what do you think? This is your first CPAC.
Yes, it is.
It is
my first CPAC. Yes, Dave brought me along, and
you like it?
Yes, it's amazing. It's great being in a room or building full of like-minded people.
Yeah, I think she's missing some things because it's usually more rowdier than this, don't you think?
It's pretty rowdy in there. I just came out of listening to President Trump speak, and it was pretty awesome. I mean,
is he done? Is he done?
I don't think so, because they're not coming out yet. Okay. It's standing room only. In the back.
Yeah.
Like they weren't
a lot of people,
that's
the whole reason that they came here. Was just for that.
And they said that they weren't expecting that many people. They were loading chairs from over there earlier and putting them in there, and now it's standing room only back there. They said that Schlapp said that this is the most people that they've ever had at CPAC. And it's pretty, it's pretty amazing in there. The chanting USA and the lock her up, and
you have to give Matt Schlapp credit, because at the end of last year, we didn't really know where the party was going.
Right.
And he was able to harness the energy.
That's true.
And I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do it.
But he don't take nobody's crap, though.
No,
I was watching him on CNN.
He has done an excellent job.
Him and Kaylee. Kaylee was always... I interviewed her yesterday, Kaylee McEnany, and she is so graceful when she argues with them.
Yeah.
But Matt's like, I'll beat you up. Yeah. And with words,
But he had to do that to insiders.
Yes.
Yeah. We needed that, though.
We need that as a president. We need that as all of the people behind him. Exactly. I mean, I'm that way. Yep. I'm not going to take nobody's crap.
Right.
And you don't take anybody's crap.
Oh, heck no.
And you know what else amazes me? Mm-hmm. You're an African American. Mm-hmm. I've seen so many African Americans here because I'm so sick of the left saying that we're racist.
Look,
it is absolutely ridiculous because we disagree with people's policies.
When I first got here, and like 5 years ago, and I saw a mixture of everybody here, the word still went out after it was over. Oh, it was only white people there. I'm like, no,
right?
Y'all didn't go, and the more every year you keep on seeing a whole lot more, and it's a whole mixture of
more than just black and white. I mean, there's so many Indians and Asians, and it's a good deal.
Do you know, I had a young man tell me, one of my friends, he's African American. We don't usually talk politics. He's about my age. And he said to me, "You're going to go see Trump? He's racist. I got nothing to say to you." And I was like, "He's racist? Where do you?" He's like, "He said it on national TV." I was like, "Tell me where he said that." The left has got these people so brainwashed.
Yeah.
It's absolutely sickening. And then last night, I was watching Fox News. I watch both. I watch all news because I'm not biased. I don't, if you're doing something, I don't care what side you're on. I'm going to call you out on it. But I was watching Fox News last night, and there was a young man from the Parkland shooting and his father, and his daughter, father and daughter. She was a student at Parkland, and she's very intellectual. And her dad was saying that the people at CNN were telling them they were looking for the narrative.
Sure.
And if he knew anyone with that narrative that would like to talk to them, to send them that way. And then another young man was on and told Fox News that they had scripted his words for him and told him he could not ask the questions he wanted to ask.
I think I saw that.
But rather the questions that they were writing for him.
Yeah.
And he said, "Good."
He
That was
didn't
at the town hall. Yes, he didn't go to the town hall because of that.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
He started out with a long speech, then they whittled it down to questions, then they whittled it down to one question,
Yeah.
and then they gave him the question that wasn't his.
That's right. How do you
And he was ROTC.
Right.
How do you feel about them raising the age to buy a rifle?
I think they should do that,
That's
but
fine.
they should
That's
raise
fine.
the age to vote, too.
Yeah. Put him.
I agree.
Couple it with the
Put 'em
age to
the same
vote, and
thing.
we'll go
Put 'em
with
the
it.
same
Because
thing.
kids, I didn't agree at first, and then I started thinking about it because I was like, no.
You listen to these kids though.
Yeah, some of them are very intelligent, and some of them. I'm sorry, my phone's going crazy. Some of them are very intelligent, and some of them already know how to use a rifle.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can make all the laws you want. I bought a gun from a friend.
Say it.
I bought a gun from a friend. If I borrowed a gun from my ex-husband once, I mean.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to buy a gun.
And a huge majority
and there's
of
more
this country-
guns in this country than humans.
And you rarely ever see these mass shooters with an NRA card in their wallet.
You never do. There hasn't been an NRA anyone.
I haven't heard anything.
And
about
gun
it.
control has actually caused these mass shootings. There's
Exactly.
never a mass shooting in a police station.
Never.
There's never a mass shooting at a gun show.
That's true.
They're only in liberal designated gun-free zones.
Or churches.
We actually have a school in Arkansas in Clark County, or Clarksville, Arkansas. I'm sorry, and they actually allow their teachers to conceal carry. I did an interview yesterday with John Lott, and that'll also play on my Saturday show at 2:00 Central Time. And he said the same thing I did. There's like 20 states that allow teachers to conceal carry.
Yeah.
And there's not been an issue.
And there won't be.
And did you guys heard last night that the deputy was outside and didn't go in?
Yeah.
That is just proof to me that police are not going to save you.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's up to you to save yourself, and they come later.
And if you look at some departments, they will tell you that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you know what?
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And I have heard that before, especially when people, domestic violence and stuff like that, and police pull up and they're like, aren't you going in? No, we don't have to stop this. We are here
To write the report.
for the end,
Yeah, to clean up the crime scene.
but we don't have to go in there and
Right.
stop it. And that throws you for a loop because you're like, well, damn,
What are you here for?
Yeah,
Why do you have a
sign
gun?
up? Yeah.
But people don't understand that. They don't mind the police having a gun, but they don't understand.
And
The police are just police.
Yeah,
They're people with a gun, people with a badge.
and
Some of them are good,
And
and
not-
some of them are
and
bad.
not
And some of them are
earning
good
very much
aim,
money.
and some of them aren't.
yeah, there you go. But
Obviously.
something else that I was saying last night on the show here on the Wayne Dupree show at CPAC 2018 is that this kid, everybody talks about, well, you can't have guns. Just as soon
He was
as
a
that kid
19-year-old, though.
knew
He was an
that
adult.
2 SWAT teams showed up, and what did he do?
He ran a McDonald's.
He broke camp, didn't he? He broke camp because he was like, oh man.
And it's also disgusting that one of the psychologists on CNN yesterday was talking about how all of these people that have done these mass shootings are suicidal. And I was like, okay, let's see.
Yeah.
In Colorado at the movie theater, he left. He didn't shoot himself. He wasn't suicidal.
Nope.
This kid, the shooter, I don't mention their names. I don't say their names. I'm not giving them that
Right.
on the air or anything like that. But this kid, he wasn't suicidal.
Nope.
He could have died death by police.
Neither-
He went to McDonald's.
Neither Neither was the Oklahoma City bomber.
No.
He didn't kill himself,
No.
did he?
So these people are not suicidal, and I'm so sick and tired of the left narrative. And you know, the funny part is I used to be called Young Hillary until I met Dave.
There's a lot of people that get turned around like that. I
Yeah.
mean, I personally, I got turned around on the gun issue. When I was about 18 years old, I was in a bar, and they were talking about the Saturday night special and banning it, a little 25 caliber piece of junk gun. And I was for it, and I thought I was going to get killed in that bar for saying that.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to reevaluate it and look at it. And
Now you know why.
The Second Amendment is not the 17th Amendment. It's the Second Amendment.
Right.
For a reason.
To protect the First Amendment.
And you won't need it until you need it.
That's right. And
And I also get, you know, there's a couple of things. And watching all these interviews that CNN has been doing, it's just making me disgusted.
They're
CNN,
horrible. They're
man,
horrible.
you know what, man.
Well, and I have to watch them. You have to watch what
I
they're
call 'em the
telling the
Klan.
left. You
I
know,
call 'em
you
the
have to
Klan.
watch what they're telling the left.
They need to go. They need to go bankrupt. I
They
mean,
do. And what they were saying, this one little girl, she was like, well, my teacher doesn't have the right to have a gun. What?
Well, see, that's the thing.
What is-
We have an education crisis.
we do.
Right.
We do.
When
It's major.
you've got
It's major.
juniors and seniors in high school
That don't even understand.
have no idea what their
None at all.
Constitution means, why
None at
it's
all.
there, who
we
wrote
used to
it.
have to take. We had to take a Constitution test to pass high school.
I think
Yeah.
that should be
Yeah.
a federal mandate.
I do too.
exactly. Yeah.
I do too.
Yep.
And then let's see, what was the other one that the little girl said that, and then they're just uneducated on all of these
That's
things,
it.
and then. Someone, what was the Sheriff Clark said that Soros' fingerprint was all over this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I believe that.
And you know what? I talked
He
to
sat
him.
right there in that chair. And
Yeah,
said that.
yesterday.
Well, I've seen the ads on Craigslist for $14 an hour
Crisis,
for
sure. Crisis.
activist.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
be an activist. 14, and I called the number, and it wasn't a local number, and it was they were going to
We were
bus
at-
you in
it's
and
probably-
pay for. They were going to pay for you to stay. Pay for. I mean, not this event. So I don't know that, but in the past, because that's what they do.
Oh, we were at an event in Columbus, Ohio, and 11 o'clock sharp.
Everyone rolled in.
5,000 people rolled in. 12 o'clock sharp, the street was empty.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the buses were around the corner. It was ridiculous.
It's just retarded because people don't understand when they see that big mass of people that they're all being paid.
Right.
They're expressing someone else's opinion because they're being paid.
And again, I can't reiterate enough that these shootings are caused by actions liberals have taken.
That's right.
That's true.
There's no such thing as a gun-free zone
Or
should be
haven't
banished.
taken. Or haven't taken.
Exactly.
Because you look, all of us sitting at this table know full well that we live in a day and time. We wish that it wasn't like this,
But it is.
but it is. We live in a day and a time when these schools need to be protected.
Well, that guy got called out 39 times. The police visited that house.
Yeah,
not
That's
one of
crazy.
them.
39.
Not one time they didn't see.
They didn't
that
say
he was
why
beating
yet.
his mother.
Is that what it was? Is that what it was? Because I didn't see what it was. They never said. I didn't see.
I mean, he
I
got.
fell asleep. I guess.
I don't know why they called him to the house, but apparently his father passed away 10 years ago.
Right, and his mom was-
And his 69-year-old mother was trying to deal
in a
with
wheelchair,
him.
wasn't
And
she?
he was probably beating her or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that. But
Wow.
for some reason, adult intervention had to happen 39 times.
Right.
And for me, that says that he's doing something that she can't put up with.
And he's not 18 years old.
Right.
So I don't understand why they're saying you need to raise. He's 21. He's not a child.
Was he 21?
No, he's 19.
19 years old.
Okay.
So 18 years old. I mean, that's not. I mean, I'm in the middle on the rifle thing because I think that it's your right.
It is your right.
And
I
you know,
mean-
and like I said, you don't. I mean, fathers give sons guns. They don't have to buy them.
I mean, you want to raise,
and
if you have
they
to raise.
steal them.
Right.
In Arkansas now, where I live,
right.
they have made it a felony. They've raised the threshold for a felony on theft
I have
to
no-
$1,000
I have
instead
no
of
problem.
$500.
I have no problem with it being a felony.
No. But the thing about it is, a gun, a rifle's not $1,000, so it's a misdemeanor. You steal a rifle, it's a gun. It's not a felony anymore.
That's wrong.
It's because our jails are full,
Yeah.
and so they're letting people out. So what do? You get a misdemeanor, and then you go out and you do it again and again and again and again.
But I think with the age, I think if you raise the age of buying a rifle to 21, what are you going to say to the Army private?
Well, exactly.
You know, what are you,
You can
going to...
you can go put your life on the line for war,
Yeah.
for your country, but
I
you
don't-
can't come home and have a gun.
I don't agree with that. I think that's
I think
ridiculous.
that there needs to be some sort of And how do you do that? It's so complicated. You can't regulate the Second Amendment. There's a reason why the Supreme Court has only taken it up a handful of times.
And that's why it's written the way it is.
Yes.
Shall not be
It's easy. It's simple. It's not confusing.
And these people, their motives should be clear. They're trying to disarm the country. The only reason they're trying to disarm the country is to take over everybody.
Well, and then you'll see
I'm
these
crazy for saying
right.
that.
And then you'll see these kids talking about, and I say kids because that's what we're talking about now, because they're pulling on your heartstrings with these kids out there, and because you can't blame the kids. That's what they've learned. Yeah. This is what they're learning from their parents, their teachers.
Let me tell you something. At first, last week, I couldn't blame. No, actually, when it happened, I couldn't blame them. I couldn't. I'm blaming them now because
they're being told.
They're being told.
And they're still, yes,
and they should know right from wrong.
Right.
They should know right from wrong. And they're only coming with half of the story. Somewhere in their minds, they should be saying, what's the other side?
Right.
Because you talked about the deputy, you talked about the sheriff, more information is coming out about the underlining is about what happened.
Yeah.
And it looks like on a local level, they also failed.
Yeah.
What, 39 times you said that the police were
plus at the scene.
No.
We need to find more information about that as well.
No.
39 times? That's crazy.
And as long as you give them a mic, like the kid was disrespecting Marco Rubio on stage. No. You feel bad for him yesterday. Now you disrespecting
a U.S.
senator.
Right.
And tomorrow you're going to take that a little bit further if you don't stop it right now.
Yeah.
No. I felt bad about them last week.
Now
they're grown up.
They've learned more. They've heard both sides of it now.
I heard a comedian say, "You grown up to act up. You grown up to get messed up."
Yeah,
right.
And I mean, every time the left opens their mouths with this vitriol at these groups and the things that they say, come and try to get my gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why no one invades us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they know that we're crazy with guns. Yeah. We're not crazy, but we will go crazy on you.
ISIS ain't coming over here.
ISIS ain't coming up. That's why they're over there.
Yeah, ISIS ain't bombing nothing over here. No. I mean, it'll be Allah Akbar before 5 o'clock.
But,
right?
It's just that there's a reason for the Second Amendment, and just give it up because it's not going to happen. You're not going to confiscate these people's guns.
And I'll tell you what, though, Rabia told me, Kazan, who had interviewed with, she told me, she was like, there's a reason why all these Muslims are here. They're not participating in the American way. There's a reason why they're here. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, we've covered that in depth.
Yeah. We know that. But just to hear it from an ex-Muslim.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what was so intriguing about her interview.
And you came out of that saying that the liberals need to hear.
Yes, they do.
What that woman said to even.
But they'll still deny it.
In the head, right. But it's going to stick in her head, though. Even though they're going to deny it, when they start seeing some stuff. Damn, I just heard that on Val's show.
Do you know what the problem is? And I'm the word flip-flop has been, I think, used to be derogatory, and I don't think it should be. I think when you find out more information on something, you should be able to change your mind. And I respect, and I do. And I respect you more if you admit that you were wrong or maybe didn't have that information that you had now and you change your mind. The word flip-flop shouldn't even be an issue because it's not a flip-flop. If you get more information that proves that you were wrong and you continue on with the narrative that you had before you got that information, then you're stupid.
As long as you keep your principles, as long as you keep what you believe in, if you believe in small government or liberty, then the facts, you could adjust them as necessary.
Right.
Whatever.
But I believe that everyone's pushing someone else's agenda.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you something. If you look at the Holy Land Foundation trial, Andrew McCarthy was the lead prosecutor. They actually uncovered documents showing what the Muslim Brotherhood wanted to do in America, showing that they wanted to come here and they wanted to destroy America from within using its own laws, and they have come a long way since that document was discovered. But it's a real document that they found.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot to do with Muslim Brotherhood that we'll talk about off air. There's a lot of important people, and some of them are here.
Yes, you're right, they are.
Well, some of them are here today, and some of them we interviewed yesterday, and I'm just but Dave doesn't understand that.
I saw him yesterday. He's still here.
Well, I'm speaking of some people that are in our government that try to run the government.
Sure, guy, right?
No, he infiltrated the Bush administration pretty nicely.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll fall out of favor with the powers that be if I keep talking.
I know, yeah. Well, how can people reach out to you on social media again?
I'm on Twitter at Val Emmons. Although, it's terrible, I don't do Twitter a lot. It pushes out through my Facebook. Every now and then I'll call Mika a crazy woman.
Yeah.
More than that. Yeah. It's more than that, but I won't say it on your show. She's nuts. Her and Joe are nuts.
And so is her husband.
They're all nuts.
Mr. Brzezinski.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Conservative, right?
Yeah. So Facebook, Val Emmons, just look up Val Emmons. You can add that. You can go to my show page. If more people start going over there, I'll start adding more stuff to it. But, you can email me at valemmons@gmail.com if you're interested in being on the show or have something to say or, or you can Facebook me.
Cool beans.
Yeah. And thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. You're going to have to come over and...
No problem, darling.
Be on my show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Val Emmons from Arkansas. And Facebook.com/VALEEMMONS. So they took care of our first 30 minutes.
There you go. I feel a calm coming before a storm. It's just getting ready to, or these doors getting ready to open up. Not a whole lot of people on Spreaker. Where are you guys at? Oh, let me give a shout out to Ken C. From the Spreaker world. Ken C. provided the jelly beans, not Cajun Ken.
Thank you, Ken C.
So thank you, Ken C. We're still dealing with him right here. Appreciate it very much. I'm sorry I got that wrong.
Hutcher's like, Ken, Cajun Ken.
Yeah, Cajun Ken corrected me, though. I appreciate that. I apologize again. So here we are, day 2, Friday. This is the day that they normally break down all the communication equipment. This afternoon around 3 o'clock, we're going to see. I have to ask the guy next time I see him if they're going to do that today. That determines how we operate this evening.
Yeah, tonight, because we got to hook up a whole lot of stuff tonight.
At least we know that stuff, though.
Yeah.
And it's not like all this Comrex and lexicons.
And
it's like, man, you got to have a whole different vocabulary.
Connie Lex.
Yeah, when you come here, you got to have a different vocabulary, and people want to tear stuff up. And
ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have enjoyed CPAC so far. Again, we did an impromptu show on
Wednesday
night, and then on Thursday we did our 2 hour, and then Thursday night we did our 1 hour, and then today we're back doing our 2 hour, and then tonight we're also doing hopefully 1 hour, and then tomorrow we're open we're open for a few hours tomorrow, but
did you know that there is a real Indian that's running against a fake Indian? Dr. Shiva Ayandure, PhD from MIT.
Cabot.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. This is the inventor of email?
Yeah.
Earned 4 degrees from MIT. Is going up against Elizabeth Warren.
Let me ask you something. If we're talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
Talking into a microphone.
People throw papers at you. You're trying to be polite.
Why would they say, "Are you on air?"
Maybe we should get on air, but
this is you know what.
I saw somebody that actually did that down there.
That's ridiculous. Next year we're getting a damn on air freaking button.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I'm tired of that. It's like
we should even go deeper. On air, leave us alone.
I mean, look, I love the
have
people.
Respect.
I love the people that support us, and I love the people that send us here, and I love the people that follow the show and whatnot. But some people just look at us like we're seals at Barnum and Bailey Circus, man.
I know.
We had one guy that just stood in front of us yesterday for about 25 minutes.
That was weird, man. That was
25 minutes and looked dead at my throat like I wasn't supposed to have an Adam's apple or something. You know?
That's true. He was looking like a hitman.
And I was like, you know what? What? I'm like, what?
And then, like, he came over, and what was he, from the Nation of Islam or something?
I don't know, but he was pointing to the chair like he wanted to sit down. I said, no, man, no.
And he walked away, and that was it.
Yeah.
But he stood there for 15 minutes.
Yeah, he didn't go to the bathroom. He didn't get nothing to eat. He just stood
He didn't
there.
even move. He stared.
He looked like a black Oscar.
Yeah, I thought he was
statue.
getting ready to deliver an indictment or something.
I wish he would.
I thought we were getting ready to get let out of here.
Get your tail out of here. Mr. Cabot.
I was looking for you, sorry.
All right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Campus Reform is one of those organizations that they put out a whole lot of these videos showing just how crazy liberals are. And I mean, well, not liberals, progressives and socialists. Right? And we as bloggers take those videos and put them on websites, and so that you can see what these people look like on these campuses and whatnot. And we have Mr. Cabot Phillips right in front of us, man. Thank you so much
for having me on.
Joining,
appreciate it.
And this is my co-host, Mr. Hutch Bailey Jr.
It's an honor. Yeah.
So, what are y'all doing over there at Campus Reform right now? Because I know y'all have a couple of viral videos the last couple times. The last couple months or something like that. Yeah.
We are trying to fight the good fight. Our main goal, as you kind of touched on, is to expose the overwhelming liberal bias and abuse on college campuses today. So we are an online publication. We have a team of reporters in Arlington here outside D.C. that we work with, and also there's around 100 student reporters, student journalists that are wanting to make a difference and share their stories of the bias they face on college campuses. So that's part of it, is exposing what's going on in the classroom, what school administrators are doing to shut down conservative ideas and shut down free speech for everyone. And the second part of it you touched on are the videos we do. I travel around the country, different campuses, filming, speaking, trying to bring alternative ideas, controversial ideas, get these students to actually think for themselves. And many times, like you said, students maybe sometimes don't end up looking the way that they would hope to, but I almost don't blame the students as much as I do the system that is
we were talking about that earlier.
Turning them in. Yeah, I tell people all the time, I think political correctness makes everyone stupid. It really does. It robs you of the ability to process things that make you uncomfortable.
And that's the purpose of it.
And the purpose of college should be to teach you how to debate, how to find common ground, or how to form your own political opinions, and it's robbing them of that.
Now, you've identified, and you're the media director for Campus Reform, but what do you think about right now, like, for instance, with the school shooting? Now, I know that's not a university, but don't you think that students, when they come out of high school, should have a pretty good working knowledge of the founding documents of our country?
They absolutely should.
And I wonder, is there a fix? Because they go from that mindset. Now their mind's full of mush to think that gun control is cool. Now they get to the university. Now, we can call it liberalism and we can call it progressivism, but it's communism. I mean, this is straight up leftist collectivism on the campus, in the academia, in every campus lounge and everything else. What kind of defenses can we give these kids? What can we do to ensure that our lifestyle and our founding and the whole American experience is fostered in these kids?
You bring up a wonderful point that I think a lot of Americans need to understand about where this is stemming from. A lot of it is a lack of education. It's a lack of priorities being placed on teaching students just the basic civics of what it means to be an American, where our rights come from, why they're so important. And a lot of students, like you said, they don't have an understanding of even their basic rights. If you went out and asked students, could you actually, just list 3 amendments in the Bill of Rights? I don't think many of them could do it. And we did a video recently. I asked students after one of the recent shootings, what do you think we should do with the Second Amendment? Student after student, repeal it. We need to repeal the Second Amendment.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've seen students.
I don't even think some Congress people know anything about the Constitution either. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of it stems from misinformation and just a lack of information as a whole. And much of it, too, is they feel like the left has created a system on college campuses where you're either in step with what they're saying or you are wrong. Whatever name they want to call you, wrong.
Right.
And on the gun issue, I've noticed something on college campuses with campus reform. Much of it is you either support gun control or you are just as bad as every mass shooter. That's something we've seen the conversation, when it starts there's very little room for debate because that's the starting point of the conversation. And a lot of students who maybe do have pro-gun beliefs and they want to support the Second Amendment, they just stay quiet. They measure it in their minds of, is it worth it for me to stand up?
And
because I see what happens to other conservatives, they stay quiet.
You can't blame them because then what are they going to do after class? No one's going to talk to them. I mean, they're going to get ostracized.
Or their grades will be docked.
Or their grades.
That's one of the most common things we hear from students. I had a young lady come up to me this morning, said, I got a D- in one of my storytelling classes. It was a creative writing storytelling class because I didn't go along with some of the things in the rubric that I viewed as against my personal political beliefs. Wow. Got a D-. She gave me a 0 on 3 or 4 papers, my professor, because I refused to go along with the liberal way of thinking. And that's something that's incredibly common. I get tips like that all the time from students.
And that's why I really don't go to the wall with my daughters who are 14 years old and trying to tell me about global warming because I don't want to hurt them in their grades, but I do want them to know the difference between the truth and not. Yeah. So I dink and dunk by telling them.
I make sure they know, but I tell them also, don't go into class and make a fool out of yourself because they're going to shoot you down. But some of these kids, you go out there and you see, they can't tell you when the War of 1812 was. When you get to that level of stupid, it's kind of you got to start over. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're just not interested.
The War of 1812 was fought in 1776
by the Yankees and the Mets. I mean, it's just something that I don't know if you have to make it more fun, more relevant, more dynamic.
That's stupid.
And they are.
But I think a lot of it starts with what we're prioritizing. And as taxpayers, we do have a right in many cases, especially these public schools, to demand better from our institutions and to come in and say, let's have a look at the course offerings for what schools are requiring. Right. We reported on multiple times this year, I kid you not, where schools, usually you have, in order to graduate at college, you have to take a certain amount of science classes, math classes. They're now replacing those required classes. History classes are now being replaced with social justice classes.
Sure.
Right. You have to take a certain number of social justice courses, and we'll cut out history and we'll cut out English.
You have to feel that whiteness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something that...
You're crazy. Look, Cabot, how can people reach you on social media?
We're at campusreform.org, at Campus Reform, and I'm at Cabot, C-A-B-O-T, Phillips. I love to connect with people and hear their story. Help them tell it.
Look, we got to bring you back on the radio
Absolutely.
show.
Give me your card. I want to get you on my show, too.
Absolutely. I don't have my
card. I'll remember.
We'll get in touch, and I'd love to come on.
Yeah, we got you.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cabot Phillips of Campus Reform, Media Director. And, as a matter of fact, we have another person coming up with Campus Reform, too. Ben Brubeck is coming up with us, too, in a second.
Dave Brubeck.
Ben.
I was getting ready to hear some jazz. Dave Brubeck.
That was kind of funny you said that. Some of these kids don't even know the War of 18, the year they were 18.
That is a good one. I keep that for just such an occasion. To break it up a little bit. I mean, who fought the Civil War? The Germans and the Japanese. The Italians won. I mean, you hear some of this stuff. It's crazy, man. It's sad, really. I mean,
that's so crazy.
I remember learning about
the Braves.
But you can't call them the Braves because they're the indigenous people. The indigenous people. So, man, that's some loud coats. That's some turquoise. That's a team. That's a gang or something right there.
It's like
what gang is that?
1776.
Are they like a group? Is that a musical?
Milli Vanilli.
I'm getting ready for them to break out in song.
Girl, you know it's true.
Yeah.
Girl.
Milli Vanilli.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, we're
pan to Herb Alpert, the Tijuana Brass out there.
Hey man, how you doing?
So yeah, here we are, day 2. Little break in the action. That's the way this thing works. We just talked to Cabot Phillips, the media director for Campus Reform, doing really good work. I mean, this is something that we laugh about it and joke around, but this is our future, and we need to get a hold of it. And I will say that there are very many college students, upstanding students that must care because they're here. They're here at CPAC, and it gives you a...
We got Ambassador Bolton coming on at 11:35.
Outstanding. But that, there is... I was saying, Wayne, that, we have some dummies out there, but there is a plethora of college kids here that have taken their time out to attend this event, and that gives you a little bit of hope. I mean,
what do you want to say to Ambassador B?
I want to ask him about the Russian incursion in Syria and what he feels about the Russians claiming that the Russians that we killed were mercenaries as opposed to Russian soldiers. I found that very, very interesting, the way they refused to just say that they were Russian soldiers. And I'll think of something else as we go. Bolton.
Oh, he must be finished now.
Okay, yeah, that's shades coming. Mm-hmm. What else? North Korea.
The individuals that...
Venezuela.
The individuals that were supposed to be here... we're going to have to do something at another time, But, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're broadcasting live from Radio Row at CPAC 2018. Let's see, let me put this on here. And it looks like President Trump is finished speaking. Those are some green jackets there.
I'm ready for some music, man.
Yeah? You ready for a little bit of music?
A little bit of... They look like the Pips. It's like 2 Pips. Pip.
Yeah. I don't know where Gladys and the other one is. All right.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Wayne Dupree Show, sponsored by the Political Insider here at CPAC 2018. Yesterday, we started off the day with Sheriff Clark. We had BBC's Katie Hopkins that also joined us. Candace Owens, up-and-coming conservative star, came in yesterday. We also had Kaya Jones, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls.
Kaya.
And we have Ambassador Bolton coming up at the bottom of the half hour.
She got surprised, actually. She was on with us late last night talking, and she's a singer with a professional voice, and she was here all day and talking with us late. And after she left our broadcast, they indicated to her that she was going to sing the national anthem this morning. And that was a little bit of a surprise to her, but I heard some of that, and she did a fantastic job.
Did she really?
Yeah. So she was a little upset, but she
looks good. And I can say that. You know why I say that? Because I don't care. I ain't going to hell just over PC, man. And you know what, too? And I said I wasn't going to hug nobody, but I've been hugging all weekend. Oh, man. What you looking for? Your parole officer's phone number?
Yeah. That was my handkerchief.
You didn't have one. You didn't have one. Sometimes I look around here and I think this place is worse than Instagram. It's a whole lot of people around here.
Oh yeah, and they're all about the selfies and the cameras and the. What's 5-0 looking at over there?
What about sanctions on Russia, Ambassador Bolton? Yeah, that's what Hutch was talking about. RejoiceMagazine.net on Twitter is watching us. Hey, Rejoice. How you doing? If you are on Twitter, you want to ask us a question or whatnot, you can do that. You can hook us up here. Ambassador Bolton is getting ready to come on. It would be nice to have Bolton come on and then have Gorka
follow up. Yeah,
right after that. But
not a whole lot of people watching Spreaker. We're listening to Spreaker today.
Yeah.
They must all be at work.
It's Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday, isn't it?
It's Friday. But we did tell them we were going to be broadcasting between 10 and 12.
Whenever you see a bunch of police looking all in the same direction, you try to figure out what they're looking at.
You know what? I've always found the best question to ask the police is, what the hell y'all looking at?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
What are they
going to do? They
do?
got Hop Sing up there now. All he needs that little tail coming out the back.
Gun smoke, man.
Bonanza.
The Big Valley?
Yeah. He was there. He was right there. He was going to make some sushi.
Save Jared. Save Jared and Heath.
Oh,
hey,
shit.
Look. There's the third pip.
All right, in sync now, fellas.
Hey, Ben.
Ted.
Ben.
How was you guys reached out to us? Sorry. Are you on the air right now? I don't want.
Yes, we're on the air, my friend. Thank you so much. You can just leave it right there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
John James, Michigan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry about that. We were just breaking.
They got a female pip.
Yeah. Just.
She has a man bun, but she's not a man.
No.
I don't think.
And we're looking for Ben Brubeck from Campus Reform is.
He snatched his paper back.
That's fine.
He snatched his paper back.
He can interview himself.
He snatched his paper back, man. That was like he was pissed off.
Yeah, give my paper back.
This old dude got to go back. Okay, all right. So here we are. We're getting almost 11:30. It looks like the president must be finished speaking, or whoever was after him. But they're like trickling out. They're not streaming out like I expected.
Well, actually, I think they streamed out the other side.
Okay, because I don't expect them to do that, and we're really not on the air. But
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm going to talk to you like this.
Right.
I'm going to shake my hands like this.
But
because if I don't, then they're just going to sit down in the chair.
I should push it in. We need another person that runs.
We do
run
we
the
do.
door.
Yeah. We got.
I remember the one year we had that woman. I forget her name, Teresa.
Yeah.
And she was like moving people around.
She was a gate.
Yeah, she worked pretty good.
She was a gate.
And she'd bring us the. That was before we were that organized. We'd take anybody back then.
Yeah.
And I remember just getting like a bio card in front of me and just starting to talk.
We got Angel Fleming will be here next year. So shout out to Angel Fleming. My girl, she's out there. And let me give another shout out to our donors.
Yes.
That helped us get here. We got a couple more conferences before the end of the year is over, which is a little bit more targeted when it comes toward
an issue, yeah.
An issue or speakers, because here in D.C. for CPAC, it's really hard to get the congressman. Because they will be like, they got to go and vote, or they got to go and...
Yeah, there haven't been many here. I haven't seen any.
Write bad checks.
Got to go to the barber shop and get that $80 trim.
Put in their money request for the sexual assault office.
Yeah, I got to go get the venereal disease clinic named after him. And,
yeah.
You know, I don't know where that came from.
I don't either. But, you know,
the post office.
I'm going with you on it, though. I'm going with you on it.
That Chechnyan's over there trying to convince some cops he ain't a Muslim with that beard. You can't wear that beard in there.
Hello, my friend.
I know. Hubbity-bubbity.
What's your name, Alibaba?
Yeah. Oh, I seen Sammy Davis was in the house yesterday. I thought they locked him up somewhere.
No, he's trying to start trouble.
Is he?
Yeah, he's trying to start trouble.
He was in there with his little buddy.
Yeah, he's trying to start trouble.
Little buddy.
That's okay, though.
Yeah, he looked like it. He looked humble. I remember when I first came here, he was like
I thought he was cool.
He thought he was the king of the hill out here.
I thought he was cool.
He was down at the end of the hall, had all kind of little girlies around him and stuff. He was running the blogger or the
You mean little boy?
He was running that podcast of the year, and that fizzled out last year.
Well, he got angry. He got angry because they didn't do things the way he wanted it done. And plus, you know,
he keeps a stiff upper lip, though.
Well, and yeah, I bet. I bet he does.
Oh man.
It's fine. It's fine. Yep, sure can.
One more interview right here.
Oh, nice.
Ambassador Bolden, how you doing?
Hi, good to see you.
Last time I saw you was in West Virginia. You were giving a speech
to the Republican convention.
Yeah, we sat down and we talked to you before you gave a speech, but we sat down and I was across the table. But man, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Nice to have you here at CPAC 2018. This is my co-host Hutch Bailey Jr.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
Glad to be with you.
I saw you on British television the other day, and what really got me about it is because we always talk real talk, we bring it to you and stuff like that. You really brought it to that lady. You probably haven't seen it, but she was talking about President Trump, and she tried to walk off. She tried to leave Ambassador Bolton after she was talking bad about President Trump. And as she got halfway across the team, you're like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. You don't be talking about President Trump like that. You need to come back and when you experience that, especially overseas like that, how does that really make you feel in trying to fix their perception? Because I know they're probably getting their perception from our media. So what do you try to do to change that perception?
Well, I think it's a very important task that people around the world understand how we think and how we are in the United States. And it's too bad, in a sense, more of them can't come here, more of their media can't come here to see it because, look, America is filled with human beings and therefore it has its problems and its imperfections. But let anybody come here and say, they'd rather live somewhere else. They think there's someplace better. You know, everybody loves their own home, but they can see what America's really about. They just sit overseas. They hear these things. They don't have any basis to fear. So it's a constant struggle. And occasionally you get one of them that's so offensive that you have to try and explain it to them in words of one syllable. And that's what I had to do with that particular reporter. But it's unless you're willing to keep doing it, you risk having America misunderstood so that in difficult situations they don't know where we're coming from, and just makes our task that much more difficult.
Ambassador, I wanted to get your analysis on something. Recently, and this is in Syria, you've got some quote-unquote American-backed rebels that were involved in a situation, and our air power had to take out some Syrians, and I've never seen the Russians do this before, and I just wondered what your take was on. We killed several Russians during this incursion, but instead of owning them, the Russians called them mercenaries. Is that a turn? Is that something that they're respecting Trump's might a little bit more? Or?
Well, it's a good example of how complex and how hard it is to understand the Middle East, because we were advising the Syrian opposition forces. We saw this attack coming. We responded in self-defense of our Americans, attacking the Syrian government. And I'll tell you, I was just in Europe, in Munich, at the Munich Security Conference. The estimates some of the European press have, they've heard it in Russia, is 300 Russians killed. 300.
I knew it was hundreds.
So there are a lot of Russians in Syria.
All mercenaries, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And so people say, well, why did 300 Russians suddenly pitch up to go to war in Syria? Because they were sent there by the Russian government. There's no doubt about it. Many in Europe think they're veterans of the conflict in Ukraine. But what that shows is the extent of the penetration of the Middle East by Russian military and political influence. It happened under Obama. It's a big problem for Trump. In this extraordinarily complicated region, you've got Iran and Russia acting as allies, in this case propping up the Assad regime in Syria. It's a threat to Israel. It's a threat to our Arab friends. And, quite apart from Iran's nuclear weapons program and its support for international terrorism, now it has a conventional military arc of power from Iran through Iraq, linking up to the Assad regime and with the Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon. It's a real threat to Israel, and we need to be thinking about it. We didn't think about it in defeating the ISIS caliphate, but Iran was. They were thinking ahead. We're just not good at this long-range strategy. But the fact that there are Russians, not just at their air base in Latakia in Syria that Obama let them build, not just at their naval base in Tartus that they're expanding, Russian army troops on the ground in Syria. It's unbelievable.
Tell me, what do you think is our greatest threat right now?
Well, I think the threat of the proliferation of nuclear weapons is the greatest threat. It's not just that they can strike the United States via ballistic missiles. You can dismantle a nuclear weapon. You can give it to terrorists, bring it across the border, set it up in the basement of a building in any American city. You can put a nuclear device on a tramp steamer and bring it into an American harbor. And it's any terrorist attack is a potential tragedy, but a nuclear explosion can kill hundreds of thousands of people. And the perfect storm is terrorists with nuclear weapons chemical or biological weapons. There are longer-range strategic threats from Russia and China, but if we don't stop nuclear proliferation in North Korea and Iran, you're going to see it expand all over the world, and it'll be a very dangerous place when dozens of countries have nuclear weapons.
Let me make that even worse. And we've seen in the past Iranian, especially, influence in Central and South America. Now you have Venezuela with a complete socialist meltdown and approaching anarchy. What's your thoughts about that region? We're not really, it doesn't seem like we're paying attention to it.
Yeah, I think it's just an area of the world that we should pay a lot more. We used to pay a lot more attention to it. And in Venezuela right now, you've got enormous Cuban influence. One could say that the Maduro government, in effect, is being run by Cuban advisors, certainly on the military side. It's also thoroughly penetrated by Iranians, and there's a big Russian presence. Why are the Iranians there? Because Venezuela has the second largest supply of uranium in the ground of any country in the world other than Canada, and Iran wants access to that uranium. So I think we should find ways to cut off Venezuelan oil from coming into this country, cut off its banking sector, try and help the opposition, which, God bless them, is disorganized and internally conflicted. I think most other governments in Latin America understand that Venezuela is a problem for them too, and while they normally resent American intrusion into their affairs, I think in this case they might look the other way. I know this is another country people say, why do we have to get involved? Because if Latin America begins to get more unstable, we're going to see the problem in the United States very quickly. There's no doubt about it.
So what's up for you right now? What are you doing right after CPAC?
Well, I've got a PAC and a super PAC I use to support candidates for the House and the Senate who believe in a strong U.S. foreign policy. We contribute directly to the campaigns through the PAC. We do independent expenditures through the super PAC. So I've been endorsing candidates, been doing this since the 2014 election. We've raised over $20 million since then. Nice. And it's got a big agenda for this November. Very important elections coming up.
It is. Well, look, I thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
I mean, you the way that you took that reporter apart, you definitely have my support, because I had to watch that thing like 3 times. I was like, man, he took, woo! He was like, wait a minute, don't go nowhere. I'm talking to you right here. You don't be talking about President Trump like that. And I'll tell you another thing, but no, I loved it.
Well, thank you very much.
How can people reach out to your Super PAC?
Well, if you look at BoltonPAC.com, that has a lot of the information, and certainly welcome people's support, but happy to answer any questions anybody might have about what we're up to.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ambassador Bolton here at CPAC on the Wayne Dupree Show, sponsored by the PoliticalInsider.com. Thank you, sir.
Voice of wisdom. I learned all kind of stuff in that interview.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know the Cubans were so influential in Venezuela, but I do now, and I didn't know about that uranium either.
Well, you know what? I've been watching the Cuban thing on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff that, I found out how...
Did you finish watching Magic City?
No. But look, I found out how Castro got in... how he rose to power.
Yeah,
he beat Batista. Who's that, Billy Joel? You look like Billy Joel. He beat...
There's some characters out there.
He beat Batista.
And there was actually another guy that was with him, too.
With a little amount of men.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did it by just by putting stuff out there, okay? By putting out false information.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, there was never any big, huge military battle. I mean, there was fighting.
But it wasn't...
From the guerrillas.
Right, but...
Guerrillas.
He didn't, chunk and take... I mean, it wasn't a huge battle here and stuff. But, let's see. Deontay Johnson is supposed to be here at 11:35. Black conservative.
Okay. Yeah. You were talking to him yesterday.
Yeah. Deontay Johnson. You pull him up on there? DIANTE. Yeah, and he beat him. He beat him good. So, we got Deontay Johnson coming up, and actually he's supposed to be here right now, as a matter of fact. And then maybe Gorka will join right after that. Yeah,
we're winding it down, getting close to noon.
You got it, Deontay? Did you put it in Deontay?
Yeah. But it's not cooperating.
Oh, okay. So, going forward, we'll probably roll back here about 8 o'clock tonight. Let's see. Yeah, that's him. Hey, got Deontay Johnson coming.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at CPAC on day 2, wrapping this day up in a little bit. I mean, we've got a couple more potential guests. We were very lucky to get some impromptu guests.
We got
today.
Bowling and Bolton.
Yeah, so. Bowling. That was. I've been trying to get Bolton for years, but here we go.
There we go. Come on.
Pretty good idea. I've had this up here.
How are you, my man? How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Sit down and take a load off. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very interesting young man. We interviewed him on the show last year, and he's flourished. He has moved forward with his dream, and we decided to bring him here and talk to him again, because when I saw what he was doing from last year, I was like, oh my goodness. This is what happens when you start putting things together. This is what happens when you put things together, and this is what happens when young people have a dream and then they put it into motion. I'm talking about Deontay Johnson from the Black Conservatives Federation. My man, Deontay.
How are you, Mr. Dupree?
Dude, And I hope people go to your. As a matter of fact, let them know where your website is right now.
bcfamerica.com.
bcfamerica.com. Ladies and gentlemen, bcfamerica.com. Tell us a little bit about Black Conservatives Federation.
The Black Conservative Federation is an organization that is driven to increase the Black conservative movement. Now, everyone says, well, we all want to increase the conservative movement, not just the Black conservative movement, but, we got to one thing in the African American community is people like to have something that's theirs. They like to know that there's something that's theirs. And so we had to give them that title. But what happens is we want to increase that through promoting our 3 pillars. Economic stability. I haven't met anyone, not just Black, that doesn't like money.
Right.
Educational advancement. I haven't met anyone that didn't want to be educated. And community involvement. I haven't met anyone that didn't complain. And so those are our 3 pillars, promoting those things. Economic stability, we're doing a different approach. President Trump today just spoke about his tax reform plan and how it was amazing and how everything happened. I haven't yet saw conservatives and Republicans, our fellow Republicans, say, okay, this has happened, we got extra money, but I haven't yet saw them say, what are these people going to do with this extra money? Because it's one thing to have the extra money, but it's something to be able to invest it. And so what we're doing is, I'm going all around the country. I've been meeting with financial advisors and said, hey, can you donate some time for us to do a seminar and really teach people how to stretch their dollars? Take that tax refund money, instead of going and buy Jordans, let's go buy some stock.
Yeah.
And so that is what we're doing. We're going and investing in what the current policies are, and we're going to show people how to use those, how to make those policies work. Because I'm a firm believer that we don't have a policy issue here, we have an enforcement issue here. People don't know how to really work with the policy that there is now. And so that's the problem. And so I wish there was some type of arm of the government that will go out and really push the policies so far to really get people understanding what these policies. There's so much out there that people just don't know about. Educational advancement. Everyone has to be educated. One thing I've always learned is that one thing they can't take away from you is your education. And so we're promoting educational advancement. A second thing is community involvement. Everyone wants to complain. But you can't complain if you're not involved. You can't complain. I don't care, everyone wants to vote in the presidential election. Let's see what you're doing in your school board election. Let's see what you're doing in your city council election. You have to push those things. Everyone's talking about gun control right now. They're talking about safe schools. Safe schools are not going to, I'm sorry to say, it's not going to come from the federal level. It's going to come from people going to their school board meetings and telling their people who they elected, who in the small towns, who they probably know, and saying, we need to get metal detectors in these schools. That's where you have to go. You have to go to the core of it. That's the grassroots approach of policy. And sometimes we forget that policy sometimes starts very small. And talking to each of these superintendents, we have a voice, and our voice can start so small. And that's what happens because those school board members, they don't have 800 different A's that you have to go through. You can get them at a school board meeting and say, hey, you need to get these schools safe.
We have a young lady that follows me on Twitter right now. She's watching, as a matter of fact, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm feeling this brother." So, your message is strong. Yeah,
let me ask you something, Deontay. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You're the president and founder of the Black Conservative Federation, and I noticed something in your mission statement that tells me that you get it, and that is that your mission is to create more Black conservatives because the default position is liberal.
Yeah.
So you've identified that, and I think that's critical.
And I'm identifying it, and even when I'm not a millennial, well, I'm going to always be a millennial, but even when I'm not a young politician or political activist or whatever they want to call me today, I still want to go to that younger generation.
Sure.
What I'm getting ready to, starting next month, I'm going into high schools and I'm going to all of these outreach organizations, these after-school programs.
Boys Club.
Yes, but I'm not going as a conservative.
See, I've said that on our news radio shows. You don't go in there with your political,
and that's the problem.
You go in there as an American that goes through the same things
the Trump hats, the Trump shirts are for this. That's for CPAC.
Exactly.
But when it's time to actually do outreach, people they always say, well, I always get so offended. I get called an Uncle Tom. I get called. I said, let me tell you something. I'm from the hood in Chicago, Roseland community. Okay, I can go back to Roseland and have a full conversation with somebody. We talk about politics. They agree with every politics that I say. And then when I say I'm a Republican, they're quiet.
Boom. There we go.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem.
Exactly.
And so we have to go in there and speak to them like we're brothers. Hey, what's up, cuz? How you doing? You know, we have to really relate to them. And that's the problem. We have a lot of black conservatives who aren't relating, and black conservatives don't understand that you're put into a lot of these positions so you can be that liaison in the black community, but you get into these positions and then you don't have any power. And just like our sister Omarosa, and I hate to put her on blast, but you know, she was put in administration to do some outreach into the black community. Then the administration realized that Omarosa really don't have any pull in our black community, Republican and Democrat. So she is a problem. We got to get rid of her. And that's what we have to understand is we're brought in to be that liaison.
Right.
And some people can't. Some people say, "Oh, I don't go into this community." Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all something. As long as I'm black, and as long as my hair needs to be cut, I'm going to always support the black community. But also, I'm going to support the black community because that's a community who has given me so much.
Exactly.
Even though I'm conservative, they've given me so much, and I'm the only Republican in my family. So I was raised by Democrats with conservative views. With conservative views, but raised by Democrats. But yeah, we cannot forget about that community.
And you know what, too? I talked to a couple of young brothers outside of a 7-Eleven one time. I didn't, just like you said, and just the same way I preach on here, I didn't go in and I vote Republican or I'm a conservative. Just like you said, you start talking, how's your life right now? Man, it's hard. Yeah, man, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but you know, school and this and that. You start developing that conversation and stuff, and you start talking like, hey, how can I get in contact with you again?
Give me your card.
Start talking. Maybe you go out for lunch and you develop a rapport, and then all of a sudden you say, you know what? When they find out that you're a conservative or you vote conservative, like, really? I've been talking to you this whole time? Yeah, but you ain't say nothing. But I did say something. We talking.
And you agree with everything that I said.
And you agree with everything I
said. Get their minds to start rolling.
That's right.
And that's the thing. We have to build those relationships.
That's right.
We have to go back into the community and build relationships.
That's right.
President Obama then built those relationships that he did as he was as a community organizer.
Right.
We have to build those relationships and really gain that trust.
One of the things that Wayne always talks about is when you're establishing that community relationship, you got to go there. You got to go there. Not a white guy.
No, you got to be there. And you can't. And the thing about it is this, and this is what political activists and politicians like to do. Stop taking the cameras into the hood.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because the moment you take those cameras into the hood, you just lost so much respect. Because one thing about people in the hood, I don't care what type of education they have, they ain't dumb, and they can see it from afar off. They can see phoniness. And that's the thing about it is,
bring a camera, we're going to act.
Yeah, that's the thing about my team and I was strategizing, and they said, "Oh, let's a lot of people was asking, how come the Black Conservative Federation hasn't said anything about the school shootings?" I said, because we don't have a solution yet, and there's too many organizations out there that are releasing their politicized statements about things that happen, but don't have any way of how they're going to fix it. I'm a firm believer is that before I put my input out there, before my organization put our input out there, we're going to have a solution. We're going to make sure that, because it's too many opinions out here. Let's start talking about solutions. I want to go into these communities. There's people tell me, they said, your organization is getting big. Maybe you should start delegating people to go into these communities. I said, no. I'm going to go into these communities. Right. I want to be the face of these communities.
That's right.
I am currently meeting with manufacturers in Chicago and saying, what is that we can do to get more people hired in Chicago? Blacks hired in Chicago. We can take some resumes, we can prepare them, we can do resume building, we can do interview. And I actually talked to some, and they said, that's great. We've been trying to get people, but we can't get people. Some people just don't have a decent resume.
Right.
Some people don't have decent clothes that they wear, professionals. But I said, okay, I'm going to contact some like Walmart and Target and say, can you guys donate us some simple white T-shirts and slacks? just so we can have people for interviews. And, it's always something that we can do. We don't ask. You have not because you ask not, as the Bible says. Yes, and so we have to go into these communities and be creative. Right. We have to be creative. There's so many young black millennials that's in high school now that don't have a plan. The problem is that they get out of high school senior year and they don't have a plan, they don't have a clue, and then they're just stuck. We got to get into these schools and create plans. I don't care about the political. I tell them I don't care what you vote. I hope you vote conservative, but at this moment I just want you to make great life choices. I want you to be successful, because my guarantee is that once you're successful, once you are rising upon economic stability, educational advancement, community involvement, I guarantee you'll be Republican.
Dude, look, we've got to get you back on for the regular show so that you can answer some questions, because I know I just got to get your voice out there, man. I got to get your voice out there a whole lot more than what I'm hearing right now. I got to hear more. And it's making me feel good listening to you. So, how can people reach out to you on social media?
They can reach out to, they can search Deontay Johnson. They can search Black Conservative Federation. They can send us a message. They can, I got to think of my Twitter.
Deontay Johnson 24.
That's actually invalid. That's an O one. That's an O one. I had that one. It's Deontay S. Johnson 1.
Deontay S. Johnson 1.
Yes. Instagram is BCF President. You can reach out to me. I'm not one of those ones that are going to have you put you through 17 other people. I will respond back to you immediately, or as time permits. But I like to hear inputs of others, especially in their communities. If you need me to come and speak or whatever, I'm free to come and speak. If you just need some advice on how to do outreach in your community, I am willing to. There's a lot of people say that I talk. You can call me anytime, and I will talk to you and figure out what it is that you can be creative and how you can do it. If you're a black conservative out there, if you're a young black conservative out there, and you need to know how to get involved in politics, reach out to me, because that's not only the Black Conservative Federation. We also push and promote young black conservatives and get them involved.
Good. Nice, man. Thank you, D.
Thank you.
D, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
And we're going to have you on again and again and again.
I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Deontay Johnson, BCF America.
BCFamerica.com.
There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to roll up out of here. And it looks like our next people are right behind us. So, I think we even have one more person that we're going to try to get in here.
And we are wrapping up day 2 daytime. And we'll have to figure out what we're going to do this afternoon, but we're going to have to see. There's Kevin Jackson over there. We're going to have to see what the technical crew does with the equipment.
Yeah.
And we'll find that out this afternoon, unless I take a nap. Then somebody's going to have to tell me. But that was an interesting interview.
Yeah, that was. Deontay is a strong...
He sounds like he's not playing. I like that.
No. He's a strong young brother. And I'm glad when I saw that he was on the speakers list, and then when I went to go look, I was like, oh, I got to have him again. So it was great.
I think one of the things that they need to do, and this is not just in the black community, in the whole city, big cities, is they need to fix the school curriculum and put some vo-tech back in there. Put some plumbing and electrical and carpentry and auto mechanics. Give these kids a shot, man.
I remember tech school. I do. And
college isn't for everybody, man. Give these kids a shot. Get some. I remember, and I've said this before on the show. Hell, that's Colonel Schlichter.
Yeah.
I remember learning how to spot weld in grade school in seventh grade. Oh, there goes my dying here. Nah, we're still looking good. I don't know how good my phone is. It's a 36. So, okay. National Harbor. There we go on that. Anyway, a little distracted trying to get to finding out about the equipment situation and what's going to happen with that. You just heard Deontay Johnson the president and founder of the Black Conservative Federation, the BCF. That was a good situation there. Okay. Trying to make sense of this chat room. It's not making any sense to me.
I think they're going to start shutting down tonight. So if we can get back here maybe about 7:15.
Did you want him?
No. About 7:15.
Okay.
So that we can get hooked in. They won't take it until after we finish.
Right.
And then we'll just show up around 8 o'clock and boom, boom, boom. Okay?
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to bump out of here.
It's been real.
We had some scheduled interviews that weren't able to show up, but we had replacement interviews that did show up, and we thank them.
Yeah,
for,
they made it too.
Yeah. Well, again, we want to thank Eric Bolin, Ambassador Bolton, Van Emmons,
Cabot. Cabot Phillips.
Cabot Phillips from Campus Reform came in. So we're happy that they showed up.
Of course, another year that I haven't gotten any selfies with anybody. I end up going home and trying to see what I did at CPAC. I got to go on Wayne's site to find out. You got to make some stills out of those videos.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
can see.
Let me get some of those. I didn't want some left yesterday, but I'm hungry now.
They're good. Okay, come on, sit down. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. I know we got started a little bit late, but we tried to explain why. We're going to give it to you tonight. Hopefully we can get started on time.
Hi, Wayne. Amanda Head, how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more. We have one more, and she's going to sit down here with us. Amanda Head.
Yay.
From Rebel Media.
Among other things, yes.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all. Oh, you got Jelly Bellies.
I have some.
I think I have to eat something more substantial first.
It was off. Okay, Amanda.
Howdy.
How are you doing?
I'm fine and dandy.
Good.
I'm well rested today. Yesterday was rough, flying in from LA. It's that West Coast to East Coast thing, losing 3 hours tends to put me in a perpetual state of capitulation between utter exhaustion and amped up on caffeine. So today I think I'm at base level now. I think I'm good.
Did you get to see President Trump?
I did, yes.
How was it?
He was great. I was up at 6 a.m. to get in there this morning. The man's a machine. He spoke for longer, I think like over an hour and a half.
What was his main topic today?
I think probably his main focus was assuring all of us to a loving, God-fearing, responsible gun-owning Americans here that he has no intention of infringing on our God-given freedoms. Yeah.
That's a very important development.
And background checks obviously need to be tightened. That instant check system that Wayne LaPierre reminded us yesterday was the NRA's doing, which is great because cameras were on him, and mainstream media doesn't like to talk about the fact that the NRA has taken measures to make that system more secure.
Did he mention the situation of raising the age to purchase a rifle?
He didn't really touch on that, no.
That's a good sign. See, that was made up. This is the media.
And I thought I saw in the Washington Post today that LaPierre offered free security for schools.
Yep. So the NRA has
how do you beat that?
Yeah. The NRA has a program where they partner with school systems, superintendents, staff, and faculty to help them implement a way to fortify the security of their buildings and to integrate more physical barriers to keep their students safe. And this is one of the questions I always get pertaining to this topic. Who's going to pay for it? Is that going to be more taxpayer dollars? Well, first of all, even if it was taxpayer dollars, it's a pretty important thing. But second of all, there's your answer right there. The NRA is willing to pay for it because they are doing it for free.
And that will highlight and forever put in the spotlight the fact that the left does not want to solve this problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the left doesn't want to report on so much that Trump does because it blows many of their narratives out of the water. This blows the narrative out of the water that Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care if anybody gets shot, you know. And another narrative, a dear friend of mine, Rick Grinnell, who is in the process of being confirmed as our ambassador to Germany, if confirmed, which he has been obstructed by Democrat after Democrat after Democrat thus far, but once he is confirmed, which I'm confident he will be the highest-ranking openly gay diplomat in American history. But liberals don't want that to happen because that screws up their narrative that President Trump doesn't support the gay community.
Yeah, they're all about that. How can people reach out to you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at the HWCon, short for the Hollywood Conservative, but Twitter discriminates against long handles, so the HWCon.
Okay, so we have to get ready to get out of here, but let's bring you back on the regular show.
Yeah, sure.
So that we can
I'm based in LA, but I'm
talk about it. And
call in and
all right.
Tear
it down.
Lots of stuff to say.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you, Manny.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to roll up out of here, and we thank everybody for tuning in to the Wayne Dupree Show. We hope that we hope that everything was fine for the last 2 hours. Again, we usually have 3, and we will look forward to talking to you 8:00 tonight. Until then, y'all have a great evening. God bless.
God bless you. Okay. Okay.